Thank you. Claire Miller, please approach the dais. Our next speaker is the one and only Stefan Pryor.
Okay. All right, hold on. Hold on. All right, I'm going to look at them because y'all something else. Not my fault. Crammy Dean. We talking about that red light district. Man, they did that 16 years ago. We had the CEO. She went to jail for conspiracy. The Ohio Democrat Party got money from that organization, the red light district, and you're trying to bring that back. You need to stop that. You need to stop that. You need to stop that. You don't bring that back, man. Bring up something new about this drive-by shootings keep happening in our neighborhoods. Come up with something for that. You coming up with something so old, it's super old. I don't know why you coming up with that, but then I like what one of your council members did. She fronted on him and said, you meeting with developers? You meeting with developers, man. You can't do that, meet with developers. So guess what? Red light district, it's in the trash. We ain't gonna vote on that. We ain't gonna vote on that, all right? So, Father Al, they say foxes have holes and birds of the air had nests, but man, a son of man don't have a place to lay his head. So y'all need to stop this, man. Y'all put this railroad on the ballot, but not putting the affordable housing on the ballot. Y'all super wrong for that. Y'all got people down here fighting for black people for real. I like that for y'all. Thank y'all for that. Fighting for black people. We got 5 council members up here black. If you can't fight for your people, what the heck is going on with your brain cells? Something wrong. Y'all should have the power to help people. That's y'all job and y'all goal to do that. Too many games being played. Help. Put this in motion. They got, what, 12,000 signatures? They're going to put it on the ballot anyway. So the whole key is y'all need to start getting along with the people of Cincinnati. Y'all doing what the other people telling y'all doing behind closed doors. That is wrong. 3C, DC, the Port, FC, Soccer Stadium. Stop it. I approve that message. I love you. You can't do nothing about it. You can't.
Thank you, Stefan. Our next speaker, could I please have Robert Aragon approach the dais? Our next speaker is Pastor Leslie Jones. Welcome, Pastor.
Good afternoon. I'm the pastor of Truth and Destiny United Church of Christ. I'm also the organizing director for the Amos Project. Many of you have been familiar with the Amos Project over the years, and we've had some ebbs and flows, and I think we're on an up ebb. I'm here to also announce I'll be ordaining Reverend Dr. Stefan. That's a joke.
I didn't know about the doctor.
I'll be ordaining him, so he'll be official real soon. But the Amos Project recently conducted a survey. We conducted this survey and gathered more than 500 responses across the state of Ohio. One of the top 3 issues, voting rights, affordable housing, and education, became the top issues that these folks said we need a fight on, and we need to make some changes. I was looking and doing some research about Cincinnati, and I find it very interesting that Cincinnati was listed as one of the most livable cities in 2023. But my question to you today is, livable for who? Who is it really livable for? On Sunday morning, unbeknownst to me, a member of the clergy sat in my congregation. At the end of the service, she came to me and she told me that someone sent her there because she's homeless. A member of the clergy who came to this city for a job, not with a church, but with a Fortune 500 company. Starting off, she simply doesn't have the income and cannot find an affordable place to live. That is dire. Who is this city livable for? There's a little oxymoron because right under that article is that Cincinnati was listed as one of the worst managed cities.
Thank you, Pastor.
We got a problem, and we have to fix that problem. And you can do something about it by putting the Affordable Housing Amendment on the ballot.
Thank you, Pastor.
And you can talk about what you're really going to do.
Thank you. I please have Pastor Nelson Pierce Jr. approach the dais? We only have a few more cards left, so if you are in the audience and would like to speak, please come up to the clerk and fill out a note card. After we finish our in-person speakers, we'll jump to our Zoom speakers. Our next speaker is Claire Miller. Welcome.
Thank you. As I've been listening to people talk about the need to hear from and really meet the real faces of homelessness in the city, and I hear about the need, not in 6 months, not in a year, but for housing right now, tonight, I'm just wondering, could we think a little outside the box and open up these amazing buildings that things like this happen in, just for emergency shelter for folks that just need a night off the street, to just kind of keep them at the forefront of your imagination while you're making these decisions. I just know that when I was living in homelessness, just the chance to be off the street anywhere. The buildings here in Cincinnati are so incredibly opulent. The wealth that it took to build these buildings comes from the same families of our Black citizens, of our citizens from around the world whose wealth has been flowing into places like this for generations. They should own these amazing buildings. How many buildings like this are in the city right now that we could just open the doors of and have people have at least a climate-controlled place, while those of us who get to just think of these buildings as a workspace do the work of actually fixing the situation. Thank you so much, and thank you to the amazing people that have spoken today.
Thank you. Could I have Stacy Burge approach the dais, please? Our next speaker is Robert Aragon.
Hi, my name's Robert. I'm 24 years old, and I've been living in Cincinnati for a year. I'm originally from California, the LA and San Bernardino suburbs like Pomona, Chino Hills, and Fontana. I've noticed there the housing problem makes it seem like they're trying to gentrify the whole state. I've seen the same thing here in this city with OTR, as prices with living in the downtown area has gone higher. Seeing it from the homeless perspective, in a way I feel I could speak for them, since most of my friends are homeless, and I've noticed even people with full-time jobs or part-time jobs are still homeless or still have to reach out or use affordable housing programs like GCB, PAF, or HUD. We can't forget housing isn't a citizen's only expense. We also have food, medical, transportation, and leisure expenses to keep us happy and content with our lives. We also sometimes have emergency expenses that we do not always foresee that can be costly. I believe in the old saying.
Do you mind speaking a little closer to the mic?
Yeah. No taxation without representation. And also the taxes in the city and the state can lower transportation costs, like buses being free can help us with more money in our pocket and boost production, money moving around, and workflow. It sickens me that there's so much abandoned buildings being empty, with big businesses buying property and buildings, keeping them locked and closed until renovations and make apartments, Airbnbs, and businesses just to make more money. While there's so much people on the streets needing just a simple room, a bed, dresser, closet, kitchen, and bathroom, air conditioning, and heating just to survive. Something like what the youth shelter in Cincinnati off Reading has available for 18 to 24-year-olds is a bare minimum what we humans need to survive. And going through winter here, walking or sleeping in negative-degree weather or close to negative-degree weather, almost losing my fingers, my sanity, and my life.
Thank you,
sir. The cold,
sir.
it sickens me that these vacant 4 to 5, 10-story buildings are just
Thank you, sir.
sitting there empty while there's people on.
Thank you for your time. Thank you so much. Could I please have Najan X approach the dais? Pastor Nelson Pierce Jr. is up next. Welcome.
My name is Nelson Pierce, and I'm the pastor of Beloved Community Church, and I'm here today to call on you to pass a motion committing yourselves to put funding for truly affordable housing on this November's ballot, because we need housing now. Allow me to share the story of William A. Gale, William Gale was born in 1896, served in the U.S. Navy in World War I and the Air Force in World War II. He had a heart for public service and ran for mayor of Montgomery, Alabama, on the platform of improving conditions for African Americans. He was elected to mayor in 1951, and his campaign promises ran into difficulty when the Montgomery bus boycott happened on his watch. Gale's administration became increasingly non-supportive and ultimately aggressive to the protesters and agitators who would not wait for progress to roll in on the wheels of inevitability. And history remembers Gale not as the one who campaigned on promises of increasing and improving the life for African Americans, but as the defender of segregation on buses in the Supreme Court case Browder versus Gale. I bring up this history to say it is much easier to celebrate those who fight for the least of these after they die than to stand with them while they are alive. We have worked, researched, and organized to bring a solution to the increasing need of affordable housing for the tens of thousands of people who cannot afford the housing created by the funds of funds. So please join us, the 12,000 people who have signed petitions, in the spirit of Dr. King and Rosa Parks as we move the arc of history towards justice and abandon the side of William Gale. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Pastor. Stacy Burge, welcome.
Hello, it's good to see you all. I'm here as a city resident. I'm in Pleasant Ridge, as well as a service provider with Found House IHN. And the first thing I want to say is thank you, because I have not seen an administration of inaction. I see that you care about housing, and I see each of you have made efforts in terms of policy proposals, directing funding, and other measures to meet the needs of Cincinnatians who can't afford housing. Found House has been very pleased to partner with the city on housing development, as well as on provision of emergency shelter to families through human services funding. So I appreciate what you're doing. I'm here, though, because I am worried that without bolder action, more work right now, we are going to undermine this wonderful investment we have currently made. As an operator of emergency shelter for families, I've been working in this field in Cincinnati. I jumped ship from Cleveland to come here 15 years ago. Happy to be here. I am seeing a crisis of the ability to find affordable units for our families to move out of shelter into that I have not seen before. We have families in shelter with subsidies that we cannot get housed. The longer it takes to house them, the less families we serve, the more families who have experiences like some of the folks you've heard today where they're sleeping in cars or doubled up. I see your work, I appreciate your work, but we have to, this is an all hands on deck, all ideas needed, all opportunities must be taken kind of situation. So please, take this opportunity to put this option in front of the voters, and I know you're going to keep working in all of the other ways you're doing currently so that we bring everything to the table for Cincinnatians at the lowest wage levels. Thank you.
Najan X, you get the prize for the most patient speaker. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You are our final in-person speaker.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Nija X. I wanted to speak because I just got out of real estate school, and my cousin just got custody of her grandchildren, and she was looking for a place to stay. I thought maybe that she didn't know what she was doing, so I took it upon myself to help her look for an apartment for her and her grandchildren. When I searched the web, I'm seeing 2 bedrooms, $1,200, $1,400, and she's telling me she's being scammed. People are on these websites are scamming these people who even trying to get housing. I tried to find somewhere real nice for them. Lisa Ridge was one of them. Their policies in place where you can have no rusty cars, your car can't look a certain way. And I'm like, in my mind, that's why I'm speaking. Let's be honest, like minimum wage have not went up here in city of Cincinnati. So how is people able to afford $1,200, $1,300 for rent for a two-bedroom? And you also stating in some of these apartment complexes that their cars have to look a certain way. And I just feel like it's about to be a lot of homelessness going around in city of Cincinnati if this keep going on with the rate of apartment complexes is having different how your car supposed to look, and you need to pay all this deposit, and you need to pay this, and you need to pay that. By the end of the day, the most people was making is like $9, $10 an hour. I even calculated it up. There's no way you can afford $1,200, $1,300 for rent, and you're only making $9 or $10 an hour. So it's going to be a lot of people on the streets if y'all don't change this. And I also want to say I had to look up my taxes on my home, and my taxes went up. So I got to thinking that's probably why the rent is so high because our taxes are going up also. So yeah, I wanted to bring it out and let it be known that y'all going to see a lot of people on the streets. And like somebody said, I'm going to piggyback on that, living in their cars because there's no way you can afford $1,500, $1,200 for a two-bedroom. That's ridiculous.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Miss, have you filled out a card?
I signed up online, but I guess it didn't work.
Do you mind, happy for you to speak, do you mind filling out a card just so we have a record?
Yeah.
Could you do that first, do you mind?
Yeah.
It's just there in the corner. What's your name, miss?
Maisha.
Maisha? Great. So our next speaker is Rico Blackman, and then Maisha will be our final in-person speaker. Welcome, Rico.
Thank you. Alrighty. How is everybody doing? Hope y'all are doing okay. I'm Rico with the Greater Cincinnati Homeless Coalition, and I'm here to ask you all to pass a motion to put affordable housing on the ballot in November. But I just wanted to share a story real quick. So a couple of weeks ago, I went back to church for the first time in a couple of months. And I was there because I just wanted to, I guess, feel the power of God for a second. And I went to church, and I walk in, I see Councilmember Scotty Johnson. And I see Councilmember Scotty Johnson talking, and I'm like, wow, this is great. I'm happy to hear you speak because you're such a great speaker. And I was just thinking about it as I, sat there during service, and the preacher mentioned Isaiah 49 or Isaiah 43:19, which is, can't remember off the top of my head, but basically talks about change. And I wonder to myself, what did that change look like? Because in my life, there's a lot of changes happening. But I wonder as a city, what does change truly look like? And I think when I look at change in this city, I see it in terms of housing, in terms of healthcare, in terms of education, in terms of food, transportation, and all the basic human rights that we all deserve on a daily basis. So it was really fascinating that I sat down in that service because my grandma went to that church, and my grandma introduced me to God, and introduced me to be, a person that serves people. So I look at my grandma and I think about her house. She lived in a 3-bedroom house. And I'm like, how could she afford it? She did not work anymore. Before she passed away, I realized that she was paying only $600 for a 3-bedroom house because she had a subsidy. That today is damn near impossible. Let's make it possible for us to have that type of luxury, to have a house, to have a home.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Maisha, thanks for accommodating us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Maisha's our final speaker. Welcome. You have 2 minutes.
Thank you. My name's Maisha. I'm a student at UC. I just want to first start off by saying I think it's really disrespectful that some of the councilmen like Walsh and Harris and Johnson are so frequently on their phones. When we pay you guys, we elect you guys to listen to us at these meetings. But I'm going to start. So I do come from poverty. I've experienced homelessness all throughout my childhood. These past 2 days, I went out and spoke with people downtown of all incomes and confirmed what I already knew, We're all struggling to afford our bills, and we want change. We demand change. We don't mind paying $11 more in taxes because we eventually get it back in tax refunds, our public infrastructure. We, the people of Cincinnati, need hope. How can we have hope if all of our willpower is used struggling each and every day to afford our bills and meals? Please vote to put this on the ballot to give Cincinnati back our hope. Thank you. People over profit.
Thank you, Maisha. Thank you all so much for coming to public comment. Do we have any online speakers? Yes? Okay. Ms. Inez Durden, welcome. You have 2 minutes.